What is up, man?
What's up, man?
Man, I was in the wrong page.
You're on MySpace.
Oh, it- oh man. Well, it's not
Oh,
talk to you, man, after all these years, man. Well,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know I've talked to you on the phone before a few times. I'm sure we've connected other ways like this, right? Via social media,
sure.
Nike Talk or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm just a person. So
Hey, I still can remember seeing your posts on Nike Talk. You had Tom and Jerry and your avatar.
yeah.
Go
Yeah.
back.
I almost switched my IG avatar to that too, but I still keep that ready for certain things. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I got like 6 or 7 Tom and Jerry graphic tees. It's like my favorite cartoon. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely mine too, man. Well, look at that. Some people joining on. I see, what is that? My guy Brian from Denver. Some of the AmFam guys, I think, wanted to jump on. So, you know,
sure, man.
yeah.
I still post every now and then on Nike Talk now, but it's just not the same. It's not like
Yeah, yeah. I've tried to make a return, every few years. I feel like it, but I jump on and then I look around and it's yeah, it feels a little different. Some parts are the same, but yeah, I mean, I think things just evolved and that's okay, right? So,
sure.
yeah.
Well, before we get into it, let me ask you, what was the most positive thing you took from 2020?
Man, you're just jumping right in, aren't you? Um, Positive thing I took from 2020 is just to kind of I would probably say like, look to see what's in front of you, right? And I say that generally because I guess for myself, when I make that general comment for myself, I guess I mean family, like that time is precious, you know. Um and I think it started even pre-COVID, right? With Kobe, right? So I think I remember writing a IG post that day that time and life and time are just so precious. And I think, that entire year at least taught me that. I think it got kind of gave people definitely a dose of reality when, our world had to shift gears and it made people kind of question what they were doing, what kind of job they were working, just and where they needed. I mean, literally, people quit their jobs and stopped doing what they're doing, and completely shifted their thoughts and focus into uh, elsewhere. So
True.
yeah. So yeah, man, that's that it was a crazy year. I mean, I would say I took a lot from it personally. I definitely made more time to self-care. I don't know, you've probably seen some of my posts that I've been like running more and stuff, so that's something that I really focused on last year. And again, that just kind of goes along with self-care, taking care of myself. I want to try to give myself a good chance to be an old man, to see my kids grow up and do things too. So um, that's, kind of part of the reason why I started doing that. So and just try to, beat father time a little bit. That's it.
For sure. I say I see the old school David Robinson poster
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. So I'm in my office right now, right? Those that don't know me, I am a licensed professional counselor here in Texas, right? So, I'm a mental health clinician, whatever you want to call us. We go by kind of different names and things. But yeah, I have a full-time job at an elementary school, and then I also moonlight as a mental health therapist, and I have a private practice office. And I'm in my office right now, and like a big part of me, right, that how I express myself is just through the things that I'm into, right, and obviously basketball sneakers has played a significant part of my life, and you see it around, right? So I got the Dave Robinson signed that one, which is cool. I also got Kobe and Timmy over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got my little basketball rim there.
Hey,
So yeah, that's just kind of kids, I mean, the boys really like that. Girls too, just kind of how I express myself and just how I decided to surround myself around here instead of looking like a generic space, you know? Yeah.
I know it's gonna be a lot of, you know, San Antonio, paraphernalia, memorabilia around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, at least a little bit, a little bit. I mean, I got Timmy and David Robinson over here, so they're probably my two favorite Spurs of all time. Sorry, Kawhi, but say that again.
No love for the Iceman.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I mean, I can't speak to him, as a ball player because I didn't see him, growing up. But uh, I guess I'm just like everybody else as far as like people, myself and younger, who didn't get a chance to see him play and just see highlights of him on YouTube and being silky smooth. So
Finger roll.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So I do want to say one thing about your about this segment that you've kind of started before we get started, and that's really just I appreciate how um, you really kind of brought the female perspective to the forefront, right? I mean, literally, like I would say, at least half of your guests have been female, right, or at least around that. And
yeah.
I think that's something that's been severely lacking, in this, whatever you want to call it, culture, environment, and just to kind of, get their take on how, they put together outfits, how they see the culture, how they see themselves within kind of like a place that's surrounded by guys and still hold their own and, do their thing without having to, look like somebody else. Like, I feel like we can definitely learn something from them. I hope you fellas are listening out there. America.
I just because their approach to it sort of reminds me of like how we used to be, you know, back in the day on Nike Talk and even before. It's genuine. It's not. You know what I mean? It's genuine. Love for it. That's why I really enjoy um, watching and seeing. Most dudes be like, "Oh, well, you're just looking because It's like, yeah, I like women, but I like the way that they approach the sneakers. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's something I caught on to after, seeing several of the episodes. So but I also noticed, this is just another observation of the show here, but that, I would say a big chunk of your guests have been in their closet, right? And I didn't get the chance to be at home to kind of be in my closet, just because I literally got out of session, probably less than an hour ago, and I just wanted to not rush home and enjoy my quiet time over here instead of having my kids run around jumping in.
I mean, I'll be honest, because I'm crazy, crazy cheap, and Carolina now, not all the time. I'm probably only going to be in here for a few more minutes before I go out to another part of the house because I'm not going to turn on my air conditioning. So with that, here right now, and go out here. But yeah, it's definitely good to see you.
So with that being said too, right? I'm not at home, so I'm not within, I don't have my, closet or anything or all my pairs behind me. Damn, you're just in another room with sneakers too. uh, so with that said, I did bring some stuff with me, right, to my office. Because
I'm
I think
afraid.
a part of this is a little bit of show and tell, right?
It can be. I always tell guests be like you don't have to. But if you
Yeah.
do, that's all good too.
I brought about a dozen pairs, give or take, but I figured that I could bring some stuff out, get your reaction or perspective, like some of the first things that come to mind when you see them. All right,
Okay.
all right. So I'm just gonna bring something out and just tell me your thoughts, right? So this is a box here, right?
Oh man. Ooh,
So this is a pair of 1982 Bruins. Yeah. Dead stock. I think I got them on eBay like not that long ago for, I don't know, 50 bucks,
Wow.
something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's a like a preschool size, right? So that's probably why, it didn't fly off off the eBay, but man, it's gorgeous, right? I definitely think about Back to the Future when I see it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, Once I saw the box with the world on it, because I have a
Yeah.
pair of all courts from around that time that have that
Yeah.
same box, so I already knew it was gonna be something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing, right? Let's see, bring something else out here. And I think most of the stuff I have shown before, but I don't, throw it out there very often. So it's good to kind of talk about it. Um, Here's another, I'll give you a glimpse of the box here, right? Another
Ooh.
another
Okay.
another preschool size.
Oh man.
Yeah. You don't see these in preschool very often either, right?
Oh wow. Pippin
Yeah.
era.
Pippin
Okay.
Air Up, except this is a Sky Up, right? Yeah. No air in the midsole, so
Ooh,
they got to protect themselves. Has a 33 in the back too.
it's still included the 33. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice clear logo there, flight logo, which is nice.
Nice.
So, I bought this before, I think when my son was small, so I had every intention of him wearing it. But, when he got around the size to wear it, I just said, nah, I don't know. It's just so gorgeous looking. Like I just couldn't touch it. Like I just left it alone, you know.
Yeah. Guys got to do great too.
Has the
Wow.
lace to braid there too. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Larry V. Back when Nike made an effort on the kids' dudes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because now they slap everything together. Just
Let's see. I'll grab something else. I got this pair from my guy Shab out there in Virginia, Team Decade Footwear. Check them out. But he's had this pair in his possession several years. He just finally shipped it out to me, I think early this year. But this is another preschool pair. Preschool is the vibe this evening, right?
ooh.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Still dead stock too. I might have my kids wear this. They're right around this size, the 2.5. So.
Well, Nike talk again, man. Seeing this stuff. I don't understand why we haven't seen another retro. I guess of that because it's been like 12 years since.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for that next one. I got two pairs of the last retro, and yeah, I can't have enough. This is literally like in my top three pairs of sneakers ever. Personally, this is just the epitome of Nike basketball right here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I feel like, I mean, as much as, grumpy old man says, like, oh, everything was better in the 90s, like, man, Nike basketball did no wrong. I promise, you know?
Yeah, to me, from you can say from 90,000, but I'll specify and say from I'll just read it was a lot of goodness there. I mean, 99 is when it started to kind of fall off a little bit until LeBron. So
Yeah.
99, '03, it was a little shaky, even for Jordan Brand. I mean,
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
you know,
So, I mean, there was a little bit of a resurgence there when, they started pushing more retros and, yeah, the LeBron line did fine, the KD, the LeBron, the Kobe as well too. Um, Hopefully, I'd like to get your opinion on this pair too.
whew, the flight turbulence. Oh
Yeah.
man, gosh, is that dead stock too?
It's not. I've worn this one a few times,
Oh
but
man,
yeah.
I wish my pair looked like that. Yeah, that's another shoe. Like they could bring it back, but the kids wouldn't know about it. They wouldn't know that Damon Stoudemire and a bunch of other people wore it. I always kind of looked at that shoe as like it's one of the best takedown models to me they've ever made because to me it was always a takedown of the Flight 5,
Yeah.
you know, circles on it like it, but a beautiful, beautiful shoe that I wish that I had in better condition and also probably now since I'm older and fatter, probably a half size bigger.
Yeah,
So,
I had an OG pair of these, back when I was in junior high. I think I'm a few years younger than you, but I was, I think, in seventh or eighth grade. I had this pair, but I had it in all black, right? I didn't have the with the patent on it. Always wanted this one, but and I finally got it eventually. But yeah, Damon Stoudemire, one of my favorite point guards. Gary Payton wore white pair of these two. Yeah, I like how the story has kind of like evolved out of this, or finally kind of came out, right? That it was supposed to be the signature shoe for Allen Iverson,
Yeah, they
right?
like
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks Nick DePaula for that one, right? But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad that it kind of gets a little bit of love, but it's really for the OG, heads or whatever who, lived through this era and, didn't have their parents to pay full price for the full model, so we got the takedown, right? So,
I can still see those on famous footwear billboards. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
They
yeah,
were cool, like because at first I looked at it, I was like, it looks like last year's Jordan. I remember when I was a kid, younger, seeing it, but it like grew on me to the point where I had to get
hmm
it. But yeah, that is an awesome pair. You know, that's a beautiful shoe.
yeah. Let me see what else I can bring. Oh, I see Sneaker Dave just joined. Let me bring it back out real quick because I know he'll appreciate this. What's up, Dave? Yeah, he's been tweeting about this pair lately too. So yeah, definitely wanted to give him a shout out for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, jumped on just in time. I think his spidey senses were tingling there.
crazy.
All right, yeah. So let's see next pair. You see the little black and red box too, right? So
Late '90s.
in the '90s. So original pair there.
Ooh,
Yeah, this
God.
is
Hey,
the IE, right? The black and red was not an IE.
yeah, it just said on the box. It just said Air Jordan 11 low, I think. But gosh, those are
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I got this pair from Corgi Shoe, if I'm not mistaken, right? Good old Andrew, right?
Yeah, been
My
doing it
guy,
for
I've gotten a few pairs from him, at least 10 plus years ago, but man, these were just a must get, right?
oh,
I have both original pairs. I definitely have worn my black and red pair, um, plenty of times. I don't know if they're still wearable. But man, I can't wait for the next retro, just so I don't have to worry about these, coming apart and stuff. And
sure.
um, I might get a little flack for this because I usually do from some of my friends, but this is literally like my second favorite Jordan of all time, right? And
That's
I'm not really talking about this colorway, the black and red in particular is literally like my second favorite Jordan of all time.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
you
still
know,
turn it against the Knicks and the Magic. You
yeah,
know, certain halves he would wear that
yeah.
low. But yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, my '03 pair I don't think even looks that good with that bottom. I
Yeah,
mean,
this pair is definitely cleaner than, I mean, the left shoe is definitely a little cleaner than the right one. The right one has a little bit of yellow in there, but yeah, left one still.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they're retro in the black and then
same. I'm excited about that.
because I still have my pair from '96, but the bottom is like orange. You know what I mean? I
Same.
throw them away. So my wife was like, "What? Certain shoes.
Yeah,
Why do you still have them if you're not gonna wear them?" But
yeah, and I'm good with people like hating on it. They love the patent. They need the patent pairs, and cool. Like, I'm all about those. So give me those IEs and the black and red lows.
for
all
sure.
all day long. So, all right. So the next few pairs, well, actually, I'll save those. But I do have a pair. I wanted to get your thoughts on them. It's a retro that came out last year, um, but I just want to get your take on it, just see what you think about it. I got it because I had the opportunity to get it. I said, why not? It's a unique pair that wasn't available everywhere. I mean, that's not the reason why I got it. I mean,
Uh,
I'm a big Jordan guy, but I still want to show it to you, right?
yeah, you ain't got to say that. I already know what it is, man.
Do you?
Yeah, man.
I don't know about that.
You ain't no hype beast.
See it already?
Uh oh.
I got the Airship Retro.
Whew.
I want to get your thoughts about this shoe.
I've always wanted it. I've always wanted Nike to retro it. I hate the way that they retroed it only at the one store and it was in Italy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of the shoes missing in my Jordan collection. I mean, I'd be happy with those or the white and red ones. I feel like those look a little more like a shoe he wore than the white and red ones. Like I've seen people, like shoe surgeons, I've seen people make white and red ones that look more like the OG than the pair Nike released, but that me they did a lot better with that black and red pair. And yeah, I'm hoping that one day, they'll let us regular people get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little random, right? Because I did find out, how it was going to be released. I have a buddy of mine who had a JB contact, and as he was telling me about the release, I was like, wow, that's really random, And I remember my buddy not even knowing the name of the store, but saying it was in Italy, and he was like, it's completely random. It would have made a little more sense if it was the Jordan 2 released in Italy because, it was made in Italy originally. But, I understand that I'm not on that back end or whatever. But, and I think Marco over there at Backdoor Bottega, if I'm not mistaken, he's a big Jordan 1 fan. I think that had a lot to do with it, that he was a big Jordan 1 head and he happened to be a store owner, right? So, I see that connection, that personal one, but the Jordan himself, the player to the country. Well, yeah, it was a little random, but maybe there's some more details to that I don't know about, but that's just what I know, So
Yeah, I mean it's and just the historic, was really the shoe that was banned. I mean, you and I have known each other long enough to know, we both love basketball and, old school basketball especially. I mean, the historic value of that shoe, that's why I wanted to get it. And I was so disappointed. I'm glad that you got it though. You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, it was a little bit random. I just honestly, man, I just kind of happened to message the guy, and I didn't hear nothing from him until a few weeks later, and he was like, here you go, kind of thing. I'm like, okay.
I mean, yeah, those are beautiful. Have you worn them or you
I
just?
have not. I plan to. I want to. So I told him too. I was like, want to keep them. I want to wear them. I love the packaging and everything they did with the little band letter that came with it, right? That kind of mimicked the NBA, just the inside out box. Yeah, the React was probably the wild card that got thrown in there. That they have the React midsole.
I didn't know that had React
Yeah,
on.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little React logo there.
Okay.
You see it
Ah,
right there. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit. I don't know if they had some difficulty kind of replicating the original mold of the Pro Circuit, So, and that was kind of one way to make it a little bit more stable. I don't know, So
Yeah, like even if it was all right because of what it are, but make it where maybe you only release 50,000 pairs, or
mhm.
maybe you even limited, make it you only release 19, here. Something like that was worse than what they did with the white and red one, where you could only get it in
That's right.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
know,
at least that one was stateside, right? But
yeah,
from my understanding, at least this is before it came out, I think there was supposed to be around 2,300 pairs. You know how they stick 23 on everything with Jordan Brand. Um, so that was at least my understanding. I don't know if that changed, went up or down or what, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I do plan to wear it. I haven't tried it on. The other thing that I get asked about it when I, show some of my friends the pair is the double laces. Like, oh, which pair are you gonna go with? I'm like, I think I might leave it alone and keep it double laced.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wore on shoes where I just leave them both in, like
yeah.
you know, in my mind. So
Actually, today was the first time I had brought these out in quite a while, at least, 6 or 8 months, and um, the leather's pretty solid, man. I mean, I know it looks sort of flat, when you see it. I mean, there's not a lot of, colored panels on it like, you would see on an Air Force One with, all kinds of stuff on it, but that the leather quality is pretty solid. It's not the greatest, not the worst, but it's pretty good. It has a pretty good smell. You can just smell the finish on it. So
okay,
yeah,
that's good, man. I'm
yeah.
afraid. What else you
Let's see here. I got a few more pairs.
my head a little bit?
Let's see. All right, let's bring this pair out. Well, it's not the original box, but I stuck it in one of these boxes.
Okay. I know it's gonna be something crazy.
And I've shown this one around a few times too, but this is a Nike Terminator in a kid size.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, which is exactly a Jordan 1.
Yeah. I was just about to never before. Wow.
Yeah, I mean the Nike on the back just like a Terminator, right? But all the panels, right, collar, lining is a Jordan 1, right?
Wow.
So I think from my understanding that they're going to be retroing the Chicago, I'm sorry, the Georgetown Jordan 1 next year. So
Wow.
that's what I hear. And then kind of to go along with that pair, there's a Terminator there. Kind of show you the differences, right?
Oh man.
Yeah. It's like it's a Jordan 1, right? Like that's kind of the trippy part about it.
Yeah.
This
That's
pair is dead stock, which is kind of cool. I wish I had a box for it, but I don't, you know.
man. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
Jordan 1, or well, it's definitely a Jordan 1. It's like maybe it looks like a big Nike, but it doesn't even have that shape.
Yeah. Yeah, but Terminators, I feel like Terminators and Vandals definitely underappreciated,
Especially
right?
yes. Yes.
I mean, because honestly, any one of these pairs could have been a Jordan 1. I mean,
True.
if Jordan wore it, or if he picked it, or whatever, right? They stuck a Jumpman logo on there, the Wings logo. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. They're all in that family. I mean, man,
yeah,
that's nice. I felt good having the one retro they did of it. They came out in '03. I still
they
got
did. Yeah,
but
yeah, I always liked that pair too. All the all those. Yeah, I think Sneaker Dave, the Legend too. Like that's another pair that right along with it. I have a pair of Air Legend OGs too that Jake Dancloves gave me.
mm,
Um, yeah, all white pair, perforated swoosh, which is kind of cool. So there's no like, it's just holes, right? Um, yeah, that line it, which is kind of cool. All white. So yeah, pretty cool pair too. Yeah, Legend is right there with it. Let's see what else I got. I got a few more. Let's see. I'll bring this out, but this is a Sky Jordan 1, right? But this is probably one of my better condition. Like it hasn't been touched on the collar, and look at that collar; it's just
wow.
holding up.
Yeah, that's usually the first part to start cracking.
Yeah, hasn't been repainted, hasn't been touched. Yeah, yeah, still holding up. Surprisingly,
Wow.
that's a size 5.5.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually that collar there is probably my best looking one out of all my OGs.
Yeah, the one OG, I have the neutral gray OG, but once I got it because it was a thrift find, I couldn't believe it. But it already had started cracking around there. But I'm like, I could live with it.
Yeah, yeah, I live with it all the time. And that's the thing that I know it's kind of like a known fact now that just how much that the Last Dance documentary just pushed everything in price up, right? And I'm not even talking about just Jordan product. I'm talking about like, cards, Pokemon, like I
Yeah,
feel like it's all tied back to the Last Dance, but and COVID, I guess at the same time.
yeah. I always say it seems like people forgot how great the '90s were, and they were
Yeah,
able to sit in their houses and just kind of remind themselves, like, oh yeah,
yeah,
because some of the shoes that we love, but now it's like everybody loves them. Like the Griffies was hot when they first retro in '09, but 2016 I couldn't give them away at that exhibition. I mean,
yeah,
they went on sale. I marked them down to $79.99 to get them out of there. Now they're hot
yeah.
again. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, another good example of that was just like Grant Hills, right? Because like when they came out, people wanted a good amount of people wanted those than anything Jordan, anything Reebok, anything Iverson or whatever. Like they wanted those feelers, you know?
yeah, I mean, they now it's kind of like a regular shoe whether
Yeah.
it's the 90, especially the 96 or the Grant Hill 2, it's always around. But um, I remember, I remember those days when it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, they were significant, you know.
Mm,
So, and just kind of the variety that was presented to us at the time, right? It wasn't just like one thing that was hot. There was a good variety that like a good variety of options that we had, like to I don't know, just um, have some stuff in our closet, right?
yeah,
Nike, Jordan, obviously are the top, but like the Reebok, the Fila, and then there was kind of like that emergence of the hip hop brands, right?
yep,
The Triple Five Soul and like oh Dada,
yeah.
Supreme, yeah. I almost brought my pair of Dadas too, but I didn't.
What you got, the
Yeah.
Weber, the Spreewells, or just some of the
No, I
regular?
had I had the wild styles, the ones that kind of had the graffiti on the side. Yeah, those were the very first Dadas. I had those.
Wow,
Yeah. I still
wow,
have them.
wow.
Yeah. So all right, the other next pair is also another Jordan 1, but um
Man,
I threw my little hang tag in there, and there's this Sky Jordan hang tag for reference.
nice.
It's a little smaller. So it's just another black and red, but as you can see, like that collar is not as pretty as the other one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. This one actually is pretty good. It's just a little like I almost call it like salty, like it gets a little like ashy up here, but it's not chipping off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hey, it still looks good.
this pair is dead stock, actually.
Whew.
It's a size 2 in kids. Yeah.
That's oh, that's
That's the only dead stock pair of 85s that I have.
one thing I want is I feel like maybe it's a little bit more now since I work for Converse, but I saw a thing on Facebook the other day where they posted the weapon commercial where all the NBA players were rapping,
Hmm.
and they were like, and then Michael Jordan came, and none of this mattered. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in the sneaker mythology that Jordan's was always
for
hot.
sure, for sure.
I'm not saying that they weren't, but I always feel like the three, the Air Revolution, and the Alpha Force is kind of what took Nike basketball off and where they took it from Converse. You
Yeah,
know, um,
yeah,
so I mean, I know and pretty much everybody I see in these comments is vetted to where they know. But if somebody is watching that doesn't, I mean, I want them to bring back the weapon. If there was a way that I could talk to somebody higher up in Converse to bring back the regular weapon, I would, because as much as I love the Jordan 1, I love the weapon just as much. And
yeah,
you know me for
yeah.
years, Lakers fan, so Magic's my.
Yeah, like my uncle here in town, he in his little man cave in his room, in his at his house, like growing up, I used to see he had two posters, right? He
Mhm.
had the Iceman poster, original,
Oh,
Nike.
basketballs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he had that framed, and then the other poster that he had was the Choose Your Weapon poster, right? And I like to me, those might just be the best like basketball advertisements, period. Both
Yeah,
of those,
yeah,
right? So, of course, I'm partial to the Spurs, so I'm going to say Iceman on that. But that Choose Your Weapon, like I literally want to still ask him, like, hey, when you pass or whenever you get tired of this poster, like can you pass it on? Because I love it. Like I still look for it on eBay, just the back to back of Magic and Bird and just it's just that whole advertising campaign that they, all those players that they push for that shoe were all the best players in the league,
yeah.
right?
I feel like Nike, all they had was before Jordan, they had Iceman and they had Moses Malone and Michael Cooper, Jamal Wilkes, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that many people wearing Nikes. Danny Ainge, before he went to Reebok, he used to wear Nikes. Dennis Johnson, but it's not many.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
man. Yeah, yeah, definitely like there's significant. I mean, in reality, even when kind of going back to the Jordan 1, like really, like it's probably just been maybe the last 6 or 7 years that the Jordan 1 has been that hot.
yeah. I tell my young dudes that are in the shoes, I'm like, man, the Jordan 1 is more popular than it's ever been.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
ever since that 13 set of retros, it's been different.
Yeah, I have this conversation, yeah, with my friend all the time. Just how uh, the Jordan one really, again, over the last 6, 7 years, really elevated to almost to the level of like Adidas superstar
Hmm.
or like a Chuck Taylor.
Yep.
Like, in that period. I mean, those two shoes, in my opinion, are like they're just so cross-cultural. Like anybody can wear it with any outfit. Like you don't have to be into sneakers to wear Chuck Taylor or Adidas Superstar.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of black and white Chuck Taylors that we've sold as a company over the last 3 months, you would think that it just came out. It's insane. I can't. Oh man. But I'm gonna ask the question. I don't want nobody in the comments to get mad at me, but do you think that the Air Jordan 1 has surpassed the Air Force 1?
Oh man, I would say based on the last it wasn't just one year, right? So it's been like the last 6 or 7 years, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. I mean, hopefully PG
PG,
knows is not lurking down there because he'll definitely throw us in the flames. But
but everybody said never underneath.
and man, you might need a reality check and come into Jesus meeting because it's been happening, unfortunately. Like literally, maybe not 85 Jordan ones, but just Jordan ones in general, like mids, lows, highs, like they're I think ubiquitous, right? Just like some of my AmFam guys are saying, like
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good point too, Dave. Like he said, they have their own lanes. There's room for everything. That's how it should be, people. America,
that's that's
right?
that's
Like
fair.
there should be variety for everything, right? Leave some
Oh,
space for everything.
so I got to respect what all they said. Those are all heavy hitters right there. So you know,
Yeah, like just like what we're talking about, Fila, Reebok, Adidas, and then all those the hip hop brands, Echo, Dada. Like there was space for all that before. Why can't we have it now? You
yeah.
know?
I mean, because I don't know. I mean, my one dude, he wouldn't believe me. I'm like, look, before 2011, the Jordan 1 was like how people look at Jordan 2s.
You're right.
Besides people like us, you know what I mean? It was a throwaway, Jordan, except for, people like us. But yeah, I never thought it would be the Jordan.
Yeah.
I thought that would happen. But, you know, it's interesting to see because, I mean, they can pretty much do anything with
I
it.
see my guy James in the comments there talking about New Balance, and that is a brand that really has been all over the place over the last,
Yes.
20 plus years. Like, they definitely had a specific target audience, a demographic when they came out for the longest time, right? Because, their pairs were made in USA and had such a high price point for their premium stuff that, that was just a very niche market, right? So, then they finally started tapping into, some of the jumping on, collaborating with brands and just like all the other brands started doing too. And, they kept their quality standards for the most part. Um, and yeah, I dig New Balances too. I'm very particular on models that I like. Particularly, I like 1300s, 998s, 999s a little bit. So
Yeah, for me, it's the 1300. I really like the 1500, even though
1500s.
it's kind of it's a little bulky compared to some of the others. The 997, the regular 997 is probably my favorite. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's probably the one I have the most of. Also, another random one. I love the 801. I still have my pair from
Okay, okay.
the 801. I mean, whenever it retros, it always each time I've worked for Foot Locker, it's gone down to like 29 every time they tried to retro it. But um, I have a lot of love for New Balance. I'm glad that they kind of pulled back to 574 because it was kind of like their throwaway shoe, 2 for $89 at Champs. But they're starting to do a lot better with it. Along with
Yeah,
the
and I'll be quite honest. Like, I mean, I can't say that I was a New Balance head, up until a certain point and that's why places like, like Nike Talk or just having like a good variety of people that I've met, locally and, through a message board like that kind of exposed me and broadened my horizons to different silhouettes and different brands other than, just typical, Jordan or Air Maxes or whatever too, right? Yeah, that's kind of how we get your feet wet, right? Or just kind of how it's your gateway, I guess. But it's cool to just try other brands too. Like that's okay.
Yeah, and that's and see that's where it ties in with the young ladies I've gotten to interview on the show. They aren't just wearing Nike product, whether it be Jordans or whatever.
Yeah.
They're branching off, too. So it just makes things a little more interesting because us being older guys that are still in the sneakers, we're always gonna love Michael Jordan, we're gonna love Penny, and
Yeah.
whoever we're into. But I get what you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's just like Dave said, there's a lane for everything, right? There should be a good variety. I mean, hopefully, man, that's what kind of makes brings good culture, right? It's just a variety instead of the same thing or same pairs or just a few things that are hot. And I'm not knocking all the things that are popular now because I mean, I don't want to sound like the get off my lawn old man, because I might not be into it, I might not understand it, but like I appreciate that, somebody likes it, like, because the kids are the one who kind of drive the culture too, right? Whether we like it or not. So,
True, it's true. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I had the conversation the other day with my guy Manny. He just joined in, and my guy Fred, right? T21D. I know you remember him too.
oh yeah,
We were talking about Air Force Ones, right? And just the white on whites on how that became the the model that like young females wear. And like we were telling Fred this, and Fred, he's a little older, right? So it takes a little bit for him to catch up on this stuff. And we're like, no, Fred, like, there's high school girls, middle school girls, they love that shoe. And the more beat up it is, the better,
yeah, the hell out of it.
And he just couldn't wrap his head around that, and he thought we were lying to him. So he sure enough he texted his 20-year-old I think 21-year-old niece, and she definitely confirmed it for him.
Yeah, that's something that's been strange, seeing the young teenage girls with the dirty white forces. It's just a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Force is still hot, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, Dad, I have a pair of all whites from like 15 or 16 that I have that's been sitting that I haven't worn yet. Like, what am I saving them for? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only pair of all whites I've ever had were a pair of I got from the Soul Bar event, 777.
Mm.
They had like a lasered pair, and I ended up getting my pair lasered with my username you cast on it. So I can't exactly sell those, right? I have to keep hold on to them.
Hey, do you guys still have SA sneaks up?
So that's a good question, man. So yeah, for those that joined on who don't know, but San Antonio, like we have a pretty good, sneaker community here in town. It really started with, a small group, a group of guys, and around, gosh, 2005-ish, and it snowballed into something that was much bigger, which turned into a local sneaker show called Sneaks Up, right? And we did it for, I think, 12 years, if I'm not mistaken, 13 years. And I think the last one we had was a few years ago, right? So around the time that we put it on pause, I kind of wanted to back up from it just so I can focus on some other stuff. I do some nonprofit work here in town, and I just wanted to kind of push my energy onto that. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that little bit of like having it going through it every year and stressing about it. It's such a big event, right? Like it turned into from the small little thing we had in the gym to, 4 or 5 thousand people,
Yeah.
right? And we never, I don't think we ever foresaw it like getting that big, and which was, I mean, definitely a blessing, and it was cool to see, like that involvement. But and then we always kind of, that was our like baby, right? Like we were very careful on how we treated that baby. Like when everything turned more toward like buy sell trade, and folks bringing in their crates full of stuff to set up in the corner, we're just like, man, like it definitely takes away from it. We know, again, that's part of what happens nowadays, but um but so yeah, I focused my energy on a few other things. A few other guys that started that were doing the show, Norm, Joseph. They put it on pause too. I wouldn't say we're completely gone. I would love to bring it back. COVID definitely threw kind of a wrench on that too, and hopefully when things kind of settle a little bit and we can go back to having those bigger events without stuff like coming about it. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah, so yeah, we're still around, man. I'm still friends with just about every one of those guys, that contributed to the show. Some of them run with me. I check in, I text. Some of them were on this IG live. I noticed too. So, they're my brothers, man. Like we have a pretty strong community here, and just because we don't see each other, all the time, Jake Dankless is another one, like who I literally talked to him today. I haven't seen him in a while, but I FaceTimed him, so we check on each other, or at least I check in on them, that's been the cool thing about sneakers, man. Just about like all the people that I've met, from all over.
Is there
Yeah, it's a common thing that brings people together, right? No matter what you believe in, or your political views, or your religion or background, like we can all kind of have a shared experience through it and have a good time and not have to worry about, some of the BS that goes on in the world and just, enjoy what you're wearing. So, by the way, are you wearing anything?
well, I one stars today. I ain't wear no cool, nothing too cool.
Hey, still counts, man. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know what you were wearing.
Yeah. What
I,
did you
I mean,
bring out?
I mean, I came from work, but I got a pair of the latest, I think they call them like aquatone
Yeah.
Hirachis, right?
Those on sneakers. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them on end. I couldn't wait for them. I wanted to wear them as soon as possible, so I bought them about a week ago from end. Free shipping,
Yeah.
and they
Anytime
came lightning fast too.
you said what now?
They came really fast too. They came within a few days.
Yeah. Since
Yeah,
this year has been a strange year, like, working for Converse, that's been my focus, buying vintage shit, new, but yeah, these stars back when Target and Converse had like a joint venture, like early tens. I had a pair of laceless one stars. They were there and they were only like $10. So I just bought them. They're like one of my original pairs before I started
oh,
working.
nice.
They're all the way in the other room. So, I'm gonna just, you know, I can go get them if you want though.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate, variety. You know, oh, you always had kind of something to bring, at least back in the Nike Talk days, have something to bring out that was a little bit different or something that people forgot about, whether it was a retro or original, right? Like
Yeah.
aerosol, like whatever you brought out, like it was just something different.
Yeah, I miss those days because back then a lot of vintage stuff was still wearable. I have some of those shoes, but a lot of those shoes have fallen by the wayside. I have some of them, but some of them I have had to either let go or throw away just because they were too far.
Yeah.
Like one thing this year, my shoe of the year, for me that I've been excited about is that Air Max 96 2. Um, I was hoping that they would bring back more of the regular Air Max 96s instead of just that Supreme collab, but
Hmm.
um, that's one that I can't let go. Like I still have my Scream Greens. They're in pieces in my
Hmm.
garage, but I just can't throw them away, even though I can't, wear them. I thought about trying to do a soul swap, but I've never done that myself. I may try to do it, but I'm
Sure.
hoping to just retro them.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a good pair, man. I've had my share of that, heartache and heartbreak from vintage pairs, especially Air Maxes, Air Max 95s, I mean, everything, 97s, Air Max ones, all of them, right? Like they've crumbled on me. I've decided whether to try to resole them or do something, or sometimes I just don't want to deal with it and I throw them away. So
Yeah, because it's just like there's what I call the sneaker vortex where certain shoes, like to me, certain shoes, no matter how much money you can, if you got the money, you can get them. but with a lot of retro runners and trainers, especially, they'll come out, go on sale, disappear, and you'll like never see them again. Like they never came out, no matter how much you want. And to me, a lot of the runners, like I feel like this '96 is gonna be like that because that pair from a couple years ago, that with the '95 Ultra bottom, like it's hard to find those at least for a decent
Yeah.
price. That's why I jumped right on, But I just hope they bring back the regular. But what's been a shoe recent this year that that has kind of caught your eye?
As far as like a new model or a retro or either one.
Either.
Um, Gosh, man, that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm gonna have to dig back on that. I can't say like anything's really grabbed my attention recently. I mean, there's some retros that I want. Like I'm glad they've retro, more of the OG colors and remastered the Hirachi again. You know, I'm glad they did that and the '90s last year. Um, I'm still trying to get those on cheap. All those '90s that came out last year. Um, I mean, they didn't come out, recently, but like the Air Max 2 Lite, it wasn't perfect,
It was
but
it was close looking wise at least.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they put out a whole bunch of, trash colorways.
Yeah. I still need that pair, but I got all the other pairs I want.
Yeah, I got the pairs that I wanted, like the turquoise and I got the habanero, I think reds, and then I got that purple one from Marshalls, so that I think I got all of them for under $60 each. So that's another good example of a pair that, probably won't be retroed again anytime soon.
Yeah.
And, maybe 5, 6 years from now, people are going to be like, or us mostly going to be like, man, we should have got on that. And then the only time you're going to find it is when it's like 250 plus.
Yes. Now I'll tell you a
Mm.
shoe like that for me right now from 2016. Those the Pegasus, the '92 Pegasus for USA. I got a
Yeah.
finish line for $79.99, and I returned them for something else I can't even remember. And now I can't even find a really good pair for less than $200, and that's a $80 shoe for me. Like I paid for it, you know. Anything like that, it'll just be in the vortex until they retro.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'll just I know they're coming out again recently, but over the last year I was looking for those BWs, right? The Marinas and the Persians, and I mean I'm glad they're coming out again. I can stock up on them, but man, they were hitting for 400.
Yeah, those the Marinas. That's the teal colorway you talking about?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, that was one I had. I could have got it for cheap, but I was just like, it'll be there. And yeah, those go for even more than the Persians.
yeah.
Like, could have just so yeah, that sneaker vortex is a real thing. But yeah, this has definitely been a different episode. I didn't even get to ask. We don't even need to. I mean, this has been good. So I guess I'll just ask you a few questions before we wrap up.
Sure.
Um, what's a shoe that I mean you have so much vintage stuff. Is there a holy grail for you, a shoe that you just never been able to touch that you've always wanted that for whatever reason you just
Um, I mean, there's, some of that cool like Hyperstrike stuff and all that, some really cool pairs that are out there. But to be quite honest, man, like um, I I have the pair that I really wanted, and um, it took me, several years to track it down, and I'll just bring it out. So that this is the pair that I look for, and it was a cool story how I acquired it, right? So one of the AmFam guys. Oh, before that, one of my guys, who's one of the Air Force, Team Air Force One guys on Nike Talk, Mike Nadal. Sorry if I screwed your name up, Mike, but he, big Air Force One guy. He knew I was looking for anything OG Jordan 1 related, and this is 2000, 12 maybe ish, maybe 11, something like that. And he sent me. He's like, "Hey, I found a pair of black toes. If you're interested." I said, send me the link. Like, like just send it to me. I don't care what condition it is, what size it is, just send it to me, right? And it was a link to Craigslist, right? And Craigslist linked in like around Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, right? So this pair was listed. It was a little bit rougher shape, you know. The seller was I immediately emailed the seller. He was only doing meetups only, right? So I thought I was out of luck until I hit up one of some of the AmFam guys. Who There's two guys. I think I hit up Sean and Arvin, who are both located in Los Angeles area. And Arvin was able. I sent him my wad of cash, right? And Arvin met up with the seller and sent them back to me, right? And then I immediately took him to Jake's house just so he can give him a nice little TLC touch up. He doesn't do anything drastic because he doesn't want to take away the OG, ness to him. So, but man, like I was so happy to have him, and it's been what almost 10 years since I've had him, but I haven't felt the same about another pair since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite a grail there. I mean, I know OG black toes are really hard to come by compared to the Chicago's and the black and reds. And
Yeah, and I love those pairs too, but this is the one that I was dying for. And I don't have some of the metallics and some of that other cool stuff. There's so many Jordan in general, especially OG, right? But I was so happy to have this pair. Yeah.
well, I'll just name my three grails right quick. I'm probably on the, but you never know.
I can name one of them for you.
Oh,
It's the Air Max 2, is it the yes.
yeah. Oh man, like I would quit sneakers if that shoe ever retro. Aaron,
Don't lie to yourself.
I spent a year buying every 11, 11 and a half, and 12 in that shoe that I could find. I wouldn't buy any other shoes because I would be that happy that it came back. Like I was telling my wife the other day, because she's been, really coming up on a lot of shoes that she's wanted, and it's been good. But like for me, I told her, I was like, I think the most excited I've been for a shoe in the past 10 or 12 years was when the Bordeaux retroed in 2011. I bought at least three pairs on eBay that were OGs, and they separated the sand, came out the side. It was two wears and it was over. And I was like, man, I want to be excited like that for a shoe, like excited how you were for those black toes for a shoe. And I'm like, I haven't felt that way in a long time. So I hope that one day, even if it's a smaller air bubble, I'm to the point where even if they just put an Air Max 95 bottom on it,
Wow.
fine. If that's what it takes, fine. But I want that shoe that bad. I've had the blue pair, the white and blue, but I never had that teal pair.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would quit sneakers for a year just to buy as many pairs as I could.
For a
But
year.
other
So
one,
you didn't say it completely, right?
yeah,
You're already backing up here.
yeah, but yeah, that's the holy grail of all holy grails for me. That shoe, the Espo Air Force 2. I've never been
Oh wow.
on that. Um, and that and the Kashima Air Max 97, which
Okay.
could have got. Those are
Yeah,
two.
that's kind of another forgotten pair that, it was definitely hot when it came out and people
Yeah,
wanted it, but it kind of got, lost in the vortex.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I mean, I've found pairs for good prices, but is it gonna be wearable? You know what I mean? Because my HOA 97s are just now starting to crumble a little bit. My 90s are going strong, but you know
Okay.
that.
Oh, mine are done for. I cut the grass in those and they were done.
Oh man,
Actually, I still have the box for it, I think, but I think I used that for one of these pairs. But there it is, Liv.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like,
Yeah.
yep. Wait,
So I still have the box. Pair's done, but
yeah, yeah. Actually, all of mine are still intact, but I can tell the 97s maybe only got one more wear in it, and it's probably gonna be over with. But
yeah.
uh, the only other thing I could think of, and this is a pretty random one, is the Dunk SB, the wheat, the tan,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
that slipped through my hand at least 7 or 8 times, and this is before the Dunk hype. So I'm gonna wait for it to kind of die back down before I try to get it. It'd be
Yeah.
low top, but still.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's really not too many things I want, man. I mean, that's probably a good thing, for my wallet or whatever. But um, I've had some cool pairs over the years. All the Nike basketball stuff that I ever liked. I've got to wear some of it a few times, and some of it was unwearable, and um, all the penny stuff, or just stuff like that. Turbulence. I hope they retro the Zoom Flight 5 again. That'd be cool.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
black. They've done
yeah,
white times.
yeah. The
Black.
black pair.
I still need a proper retro of the Air Up. That retro
Yeah,
I got in 2014 was horrible. Like I
yeah,
bought it because of what it was, but it's uncomfortable. Like I'm only holding it because it's
yeah.
a
It's a filler. It's a space holder there, right?
yeah. I mean, they did a decent job with the LWP. The one time it retroed, I hold on to that. Clutching onto that. That's a shoe that if
Yeah.
they brought it back, I would have to have it again. Even though my pair is still decent, but I need a good retro to Air Up.
All right, let me ask you. So, what's a pair that you sold that you regret the most, or sold, got rid of, gave away, whatever?
I don't. I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I'll say most regretful sneaker decision that I've made was the place I was working at. We had in 2015. We had the shattered backboards and the Chicago's.
Yeah,
That was when we did that phone order. You got those lows from me, so we're talking around that time. I just at the time I'm still thinking with my old get off my lawn brain. I never thought Jordan 1s would be unattainable.
sure.
Had the shattered backboards and the Chicago's for $86 a piece, but I did not buy them because I'm like, whatever. It's a Jordan 1, and I'm thinking, well, the shattered backboard isn't even an OG color, so is anybody gonna care?
Yeah,
But I definitely regret not buying either of those. The shattered backboards because of the quality. I don't care about them being worth all the money. I just see it now. I don't wear a lot of orange, and that's another reason why I didn't get it. But I still should have got it. And my '94 Chicago's are in decent shape to be as old as they are, but I still should have bought a fresh pair.
sure.
So
Yeah.
those are all I really can think of. What about you?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind, I had a pair of white and gray KOs originals, that I sold. Yeah. And I honestly, I just saw the same pair for sale again recently, and I don't even want to imagine how much this seller is gonna, get for them. And I don't want to know, to be quite frank, right? Because it's gonna be a lot of money, and I'm gonna be salty. So I see Fred on there jumping in. So
Yeah,
yeah, we were just talking about you, Fred, a little while ago. You
yeah.
missed out. You missed out. We threw you under the bus. I'll just say that.
Well, especially since this gentleman is here as well. Do the San Antonio shoes do you have them? Do they matter to you? The Command Force, the Duncans, the Two Strongs, any of that stuff? Like, do you
um,
still?
and throughout the two strongs, look at that. I mean, not only did Dave Robinson wear that pair, but Sean Elliott wore that pair too, by
Uh,
the way. Yeah, so
John Elliott is
uh,
they don't.
I would say the Command Forces, I mean, that's a big man shoe, right? Like, so I feel like I really appreciate it. I really love it, but that's a shoe I can't really pull off just because I don't have the big man stature, So it just reminds me of my like middle school math teacher who was, probably 6'5" and used to wear all those big bulky nice basketball shoes, right? So they're made for big men, right? So and yeah, some of the other stuff, I definitely have a that special place in my heart, right? The Duncan Nike series, the one and twos, definitely the one. My brother used to have a black pair of those. He might still have them, damn it. Like it might be crumbled, falling apart, that little webbing on top, but that pair definitely not too many people remember it, right?
Yeah,
Um, I mean, it's Tim Duncan. Who really cares about what he's wearing? So,
yeah.
yeah.
That,
And
that second Duncan was kind of like a regular Nike shoe. It didn't have like the panache of a signature model. But,
yeah, and kind of back to the Strongs, like I remember Chris Webber wearing that shoe too,
mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. Um,
I always look at it as a David shoe, though.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like, this city like really loves those, pairs of shoes. if you see an autographed one like on display somewhere, yeah, it's going to be a conversation piece. Um, even if you catch like those flight posits, the Duncan PE or something like that too. But this city as a whole, man, I mean, we're kind of like we're not so like trendy or ahead of things. It's kind of slow paced. I mean, it's really strange, right? Because we're like the seventh biggest city in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, but we
Mhm.
kind of move at a snail's pace, and there's some good and bad with that. So,
I didn't know that about San Antonio. I didn't know that that was
yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has a kind of a small town feel at times, and yeah, so we're not as like progressive or fast moving as like Dallas or Houston, where I feel like in those cities, people would really kind of be up on that stuff or just knowing their history. And we had some great teams in the '90s too. Maybe we weren't winning chips or getting to the finals even, because Olajuwon and was handing us the business every year. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You guys, again, being a Lakers fan, I mean, you guys used to give us major, major problems. I mean, major.
yeah, I enjoyed those years. They were fun to watch, but very stressful. I'm sure I lost some years off of my life just going through those games. They were fun, good memories. Back and forth. I feel like, one year you guys would push through, then the next year we would, and um, there was luck both ways, lucky shots and calls and fouls and no non-foul calls. So
Yeah, that Derek Fisher shot, that was man, that was crazy. 2000.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of those moments where you remember where you were. So I'll just say that.
Yeah. But I just asked because, being from Cleveland originally, LeBrons are like they're a dime a dozen, but they're still like, oh, he's got on some LeBrons. He's not even playing for the Cavs anymore again. But I just wondered if it was like that there. But I get you, I get you.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, specifically David Robinson's signature model though, right? It didn't have his name on it, that kind of thing. I know it kind of had the advertisement with it.
Mhm.
Um, Timmy's, I mean, did have his name, but I mean, it was in that, late 90s, 98, 99 ish, where, the both of the Timmys came out, and that's kind of that period you were describing as far as like that transition of Nike basketball, trying to make everything more like the Alpha, right, series and
Yeah,
everything like that.
I,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. They actually used the box for the new Prestos.
I saw that for the rainbow pair, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah, I saw that.
that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, yeah. Most people didn't catch that, but I think I saw that on Instagram. Somebody posted a picture of those, and I was like, well, I don't like that particular colorway of the Presto, but I saw that they made a nice touch on the box.
Yeah, yeah. I think the last shoe I got with that box, you remember the trainer posit?
Yes, I do.
That was the last shoe I got with that box. So pretty random. Okay. Well, what? I mean, you still have quite a collection.
Sure.
What direction do you see your collection going in the future? Are you gonna keep it?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed over the last 15 years, right? Like for sure. I'm not gonna deny that. I definitely had my 2005, it was, 20 pairs of Jordan retros, right? So then I had a few Air Maxes sprinkled in with that and the Dunk Highs. I think I had a pair of Send Helps and Avengers, and I had Tweed Lows. I remember those two. Dooms, that kind of stuff. But yeah, like some pairs, like I gave them a try. I sometimes I would feel a little uncomfortable, or it wasn't me, or um, it just hurt my foot. I don't know, like a variety of reasons where Blazers was a good example of that. Like I remember giving Blazers a try. I'm like, man, these I can't walk around in these. So love the shoe, but I just couldn't wear it. So even now to this day, I'm like, dang, that's another shoe that I think that females kind of took over with, and I'm glad they did because it looks better on them than it does for dudes.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I guess I see my collection. Just uh, probably just being more practical. right? So just stuff I can wear like daily, you know, runners, things. I mean, I think I'm still gonna hold on to the Jordan 85 collection as long as I can, you know, but yeah, I've had my moments where I'm like, oh, just get rid of it all, right? But I still kind of come back to like, man, like it just mean they mean a lot to me, you know. So I know they're just like possessions, but they play they have some significance.
Okay, okay. I always will say, since you brought up the blazer, I always wish that they retroed the white and black blazer with the Iceman on the back. Like, I don't know why they can't do that. Even if you make it limited, you know, because
Yeah, exactly.
I always look at the blazer as George Gervin's shoe. You know, I know
Yeah,
not his name on it, but it had one with his name on it. I thought that would be cool if they do that, you know, just one time. But um,
I'll never say never.
yeah, yeah. Well, before we wrap up, did you have any questions for me or any more? I should say.
That I mean that's it, man. So I mean, I know you know recently started working for Converse, which is awesome, you know, but do you see your same question to you? Do you see your, you know, collection kind of like moving towards a certain way, or where do you see it?
You know, it's kind of gone back to how it was during the Nike Talk days, but just with Converse, because since so many of their older shoes are rubber based, they can still be worn.
Yeah.
Um, and other than a few of the ERXs, usually people either don't know what they have when they're selling, or they know what they have and they just don't care. So they're kind of cheap. I've tried to not just wear Chucks all the time like everybody else who works for Converse. So I've tried to come with older basketball shoes, but I mean it's always going to be Jordans that I would like to have or like the idea of having, but I don't I'm not as emotionally invested in them as I was. Like I really like the Lightnings. You know, I wasn't able to get them in 2006, but I've already got in my mind. You know, you may not get them. You know, we we've been living in North Carolina. It was a year yesterday. I still don't really have any relationships out here. I don't really. I know a few people out here now, but I still. It's not like if I went back to Cleveland where it's like, well, I know somebody's got me. You know what I mean? So um, the L's have kind of pushed me to other brands, and since I have to wear Converse sometimes, that's kind of the direction my collection has been. I mean, if I could, in a perfect world, I get the Lightnings, a new pair of Midnight Sixes, my pair is in pieces in the garage, and a new pair of Cool Gray 11. But again, I know that I might not get them. So, you know, just been looking at random Converse collabs and vintage Converse. That's all I've really been looking at lately. And reachbacks here and there on the Nike side, but people be wanting too much for shoes now.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you know, in your time with the company, if you track down one of those choose your weapon posters and original OG, it can't be some reproduction. It needs to be an OG poster, by the way.
Uh,
Then that's something that I need personally.
I think the best thing I've seen was I came across a cutout, a cardboard cutout, but it was like $1,000. So I'm like, I mean, nowhere for me to put it in my house, but you know, it's it's no way I could justify that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You might get that as a tax deductible there.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Decoration for your home office.
Oh well, you know, now
It
that
works, man. I've done it. You saw these posters in my office.
yeah, I may have to steal that idea because not that one, but there have been other vintage Converse posters I have come across. You know, I had a chance to get one with Bernard King.
Yeah, I've seen that Bernard King. It's nice.
Yeah, there's a Magic one where it's like a bunch of hymns all over a court.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, I wouldn't mind having that one. So it's a few, but you know, we'll just have to see. But man, it's been a great joy talking to you. You know what I mean? We know each other for a while, but yeah, this is definitely we got to definitely do this again.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. You know, I'll bring some more goodies next time too. But, or maybe I'll be at home, so just in the closet randomly grabbing some stuff and just playing show and tell and conversation pieces, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's always good. And again, the fact that you know what you're talking about just makes it that much better because so many people don't.
Yeah, and that's okay, man. Like it's okay, like I mean, I'm taking that from a being curious kind of standpoint, right? Like if you don't know something, then okay, you don't know, ask, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know everything about, some of the pairs or just, I mean, even Sneaker Dave kind of chimed in with some of the things, like just that, he'll tweet about, or it's all right to keep learning stuff, right? Like it's all right to not be the sneaker know-it-all God and just be curious, man. Just be yourself, damn it.
Was who I saw the first person with that box, that wood penny box. I didn't even know that existed until he posted it. You know what I mean? So, and you just now showing me. I didn't know that the Sky Jordan one said Sky Jordan on the side of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Or the sky up, the Pippin, right?
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know they were
Yeah,
going that far into the '90s. I always looked at the Sky thing as an '80s thing, but that's cool. That's cool.
yeah. Yeah, but all right, man. Anytime, man. Anytime you want to check in, even if it's not IG Live or call or text, I'm around.
Nah, man, I appreciate that. I'll definitely be in touch, and we're definitely going to do this again. But thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Peace.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.